Okay, so welcome. Happy to be with you. I don't know how your day was. Yeah, curious. Feels yeah, good to close the day with some practice, sangha. So yeah, that's it. That's it. So if you're sleepy, breathe some life into your body mind. If you're restless, breathe some soothing into your body mind. If you're sitting, the spine reaches ever so gently towards the sky. You give the rest of your body to gravity. The body kind of longing for the earth, heaviness, groundedness of our body. Dropping down into your belly, out of your head. It's like the center of gravity of your own body moves down to the belly. It feels like our point of view is up in our head. That's sort of headquarters. What's the point of view from the perspective of your belly, soft belly, releasing tension, belly, relaxing? If there are pockets of hyperarousal, little zones of your body, the emotional circuits of your body firing off, very active, just gently massage those zones with your awareness, with your breathing. Forever, our bodies have been convincing us that everything is urgent. Something must happen. we're no longer willing to listen. If there's a true alarm, we'll know. And in the meantime, we treat all phenomena as false alarms. Just unifying our body in a field of tranquility. it seems like problems find us, the loose ends of our day or week. But sometimes it's not so much problems finding us, but our agitation finding a placeholder. And so we withdraw the projection out, and become radically accountable to what our body-mind is doing moment by moment, radically accountable but blameless. We keep unifying our body into a kind of field of tranquility, vitality, tranquil yet vital. If there's any thread of pleasantness, follow it. Rest in it, abide in it. Let the pleasantness and the tranquility be in a kind of virtuous cycle. Okay, folks. So, new biography I saw of just reviewed of Leonard Cohen, who I sat with a little bit at a Zen center in LA, and so this is how this biography begins. Leonard Cohen's art derives from a very specific visual acuity. He sees men fall, and with them women, saints, and angels. Hence, a fascination for falling bodies and a career devoted to a methodical and quasi-amorous exploration of the laws of gravity. His subject, how and why we fall, from what heights, along what trajectories. His stated goal to assert with required rigor the unfathomable beauty of falling bodies. Armed with the visionary force that alone makes you see the world exactly as it is, he sharpened his tools along the way, a voice so deep it leaves us charred, a terse and increasingly lethal writing style, and his unique combination of angst, Jewish mysticism, and Christian and Buddhist flirtations. Along the way, he fashioned a world that is uniquely his own, yet a lot like ours. Quite predictably, the result is ferocious. Songs that comfort us with little waltzes, but are also spiritual weapons that aim for the heart and never miss. What do they say? What we already know. The invincible gravity of existence, that we die, that our heart cooks and sizzles like shish kebab in our breasts, that the apocalypse has begun and the flood has already happened, that God has summoned us for a game of hide and seek that he clearly intends to win. In a word, that we hang dangerously between gravity and grace. So, why do we practice? We've all figured out by now that it's not reliably fun. It can be, but it's definitely not always fun. Between gravity and grace. The Dharma was never plan A, you know. No one, none of you, not one of you, when you were a child, said, when I grow up, I'd like to hear Matthew Brensilver talk about dukkha. Not one of you. It takes time and effort. And while practice is not meant to be humiliating, sometimes it is. It's just like you can't really sit with yourself, look at your own heart mind. You look at that long enough and you will be humbled, at least sometimes. And at moments, it feels like we're swimming against the stream of like a million years of evolutionary conditioning. And it's confusing. Practice is confusing. The question can linger for a really long time. Am I getting it? That sense of kind of defective person longing for something remote. Where is it? Little homesick, lost something. How do I find it? That can linger for a long time. And it's almost like the basic worthiness, the kind of innocence is so big, we can't see its edges. It covers the entire field of vision. And so we can't even see our innocence. Cohen wrote about 25 years ago about his Zen master, Zen teacher, um, said, I never really understood what he said, but every now and then I find myself barking with the dogs or bending with the irises or helping out in other little ways. No one can understand what the Dharma is at the beginning, how deep it runs, how wide its scope, what it might strengthen and what it might tear down in our so-called lives. You really don't know what you're consenting to. Gravity and the grace. And it's a little bit like going into the doctor and giving, informed consent to remove a tiny mole or something. And then she's like, we're gonna operate for like decades. And so here we are. Here we are, somehow like together, the blessings of the Dharma raining down through the centuries, and we're here together somehow on YouTube. So why do we practice? We each have to answer that question. We'll have to ask and answer it many times. We outgrow old intentions. Maybe the question was immature. Maybe we solved that. We have outgrown it. Maybe the problem dissolved. And then it's like, okay, what now? And no teacher can really answer that question for you. The practice is purely about intrinsic motivation, and that isn't something anyone else can give to you. For me, why do I practice? It's a little bit like asking, you know, why do you love someone? You could give answers, you could cite their characteristics, you could say, oh, their kindness or their humor, their whatever, but that doesn't really capture the love. Somehow love feels um, beneath the level of conscious awareness. We cannot specify why we love someone, something. It's like that with the Dharma. There were some points when I really didn't know why seemed besides the point in a sense. I just knew I wasn't going to stop practicing. Sometimes the Dharma is simply about having ruled out the alternatives to wisdom and love. Yeah, the path is hard, but the alternatives unbearable. And so Ajahn Chah said that, right, the cup is already broken. The flood has already happened. And I really don't know how people live without some practice, some relationship with the sacred. And it's like you develop enough sensitivity and clarity around suffering, and then you need a path. Something doesn't have to be this, but something is needed. God summoned us for a game of hide and seek that he clearly intends to win. And as a kid, the the life in front of me, even when, you know, when I could imagine it, even when in those fortunate moments I could imagine it going pretty well, it didn't look like a path to me. Really didn't. Looked maybe like pleasure, but no fulfillment, no heart satisfaction, hanging dangerously between gravity and grace. And it was like, okay, is it supposed to be this hard? Am I doing something wrong? Even with all the good fortune in my life, is it actually supposed to always feel like falling? And something in life just felt cyclical and a kind of so fatigued by an ambivalence that was so pervasive. I sort of lived just in the shadow of ambivalence. And I wanted my heart to point in just one direction. Give me something that allows all the arrows of my being to point in one direction. And of course, I could sense, even when young, kind of the aging, sickness, death, the heavenly messengers, losing everything, how utterly unprepared my heart was. The body, Cohen says, ferociously insists on gravitational rights. Just before he died, the body ferociously insists on gravitational rights. The Dharma is not a perfect consolation for all of that, but nothing else except wisdom and love seem to matter at all, at all, in, in the end. Not a perfect consolation, but enough, enough. And so I began practice, I maybe say stayed with practice because I was desperately seeking a path where wisdom and love could coexist with the deep honesty about the fall. And we open to this, and perhaps we find ourselves helping out in other little ways. Offer this for your consideration.